What's going on, people? That camera is way off, like as far as centered. Some shoes to talk about here in this box, right? Gonna try and do this relatively quickly because it's not late, but it's been a long enough day that it feels late. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to move on from this, get on to having some kind of dinner of some sort, going to bed, maybe watch a little Twisted Metal first. You know, I'm on episode 5, so I got I guess 4 more to go, 5 more to go. I don't know, something like that. So there's gonna be that. Also, one thing before I get into this, yeah, check this out. One of my newer Roosevelt shirts, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Just did this unboxing the other day, and wanted to break these out relatively soon, and that's what happened. So, and of course, under this, a day to remember, saw them in concert last night. Actually, yeah, exactly 24 hours ago today, I was watching that happen. It was a really good time. I haven't listened to them in, it's been like forever, honestly. I listened to their newest album sometime earlier this week when I was deciding if I wanted to go or not. Ended up sounding all right, so I figured, you know what, let's do it. But enough about that. I'm going to take this off now, though, because, you know, I don't. I just had it on to talk about because I was like, yeah, I'm going to bring this up. But there it is, Roosevelt's shirts, right? True to size is the short version of how they fit, in case anybody's wondering. So there's a bunch of ASICS stuff in here. I don't know if anybody recognizes the ASICS boxes, but that's kind of how they always look. Starting off, got a couple shirts in here because I often have a couple shirts in here. You might be thinking if you keep buying a couple shirts every couple weeks, don't you have more than enough shirts? Yeah, I do, honestly. But they have sales and they have new models, and it's just a whole thing. It just pulls me back in. Though honestly, this shirt wasn't exactly on sale, and it's not a new model. It's just a different color of a shirt that I have 3 or 4 times over already. And this is the plainest one because it is just straight black, right? But these are really nice as far as running gear goes. Though if you've ever seen any of my little 5K, 10K type pictures, you know that I don't run with a shirt on. So eh, it doesn't make the most sense to buy these, to be honest with you. I get it, right? But they do also double as standard workout shirts. So you got that. And I picked this one up because it looks kind of nice, matches up color wise with that pair of Glide Ride Maxes that I picked up the other day, which have been working out quite well. So super light, very similar style to the last shirt I just showed you. And geez, look at that! Like it's crazy how much these some of these shirts come in at, right? But they're really nice, And when there's discounts to be had, who am I to say no? Kevin, hello to you. Hope things are going well. I'm guessing you probably bought some shirts recently because I know you, like myself, buy your share. Roosevelt's a guy, not like so much the ASICS things. But back to on track. See that same thing as we talked about a couple days ago with this right here, this being a large, this being a medium. So we're just gonna pull these things on out, see how that plays out. You see, I'm a 9.5 size foot dude, right? And 9.5 was the bottom of the large size. It's like 9.5, it's like 11, something like that, right? Which would make you think, if you thought about it, which I didn't think about it, that means I'm probably going to have like some extra room in these because if it has to fit up to an 11, that's kind of a lot, right? So I got them and put them on, and I was like, well, this worked out exactly how I would have imagined it had I actually imagined how this might play out. So now we have this perfect. Yeah, should have done that the first time. So this one being the large, this one being the medium. Again, it's like I said with like the Prestos a lot of the times. If your foot size is at the top or the bottom of the chart, you should probably think about what you're about to do. So that way you don't end up like I just ended up right after, right? Not a big deal. I'll give these to my dad. They'll fit him just fine. And it means I don't have to deal with like returns and such, right? Because I don't feel like dealing with returns and such. But anyways, right? With a lot of other things, some people might have a size that's like right in the middle, so you'll probably be fine doing whatever the chart says to do. Just pay attention to it, okay? So that way you have less stuff to worry about later. So I'll go over this real quick again. So across the bottom, that's what things are looking like. Actually, since I remember to have them with me, this is the actibreeze 3D version 1. This is the actibreeze 3D version 2. Very similar as far as like the interiors go, but this has an exterior, right? What are you saying here? Yep, I think since we last talked, I exchanged for the Maleficent Disney last. Okay. Yeah, I did want like this Disney villain shirt that has like Scar and Maleficent's on there. I think Ursula's on there. Yeah, a couple people. So it's got this outer shell thing, right? rsvlts.com. Check them out. They've got all kinds of different shirts of different fandoms or whatever. Something for everybody. The price isn't for everybody, but Black Friday is coming around, so maybe go over there, see what you think, and then keep it in your mind, put it in your little wish list. When Black Friday rolls around, that will be your time to strike. So you got this little exoskeleton sort of deal here, right? So I guess you can buy like different colors of these, but I haven't seen these sold by themselves. I haven't seen these sold by themselves either. So I'm not sure what they're doing with that. But you got these little notches on the side, right? And those match up with those little holes on the side. That's what keeps this in place, right? So either way, I haven't done anything with these because I didn't have my right size and I just didn't feel like dealing with it. But either way, so you got that happening. They come in a couple different colors. I want to say I've seen like 5, so a handful of different colors if you want to be more specific. So let's go ahead, put this thing back in, and it's like pretty flexible, right? It's like bends and stuff. It's as much give as you would expect from like a normal slide. Like any of their normal, about any of their other normal slides that they make or whatever. So I'd say they're kind of like on par with that. Well, actually, I can't even talk about these. Adidas is who I'm thinking of. Your standard Adidas slides, like the Adalettes or whatever, that's kind of how this thing feels. So in case you're wondering, that's what it would be comparable to. So then otherwise, like I said, inside, you got the same sort of thing going on. And that's pretty much the end of that. I don't really have anything else to say about these because I said a lot the other day. So I'm hoping that these play out better because I wasn't a huge fan of the version 1. You know what I'm saying? It's not bad. It's just that when you have something that's like this and it's fully 3D printed or whatever, sometimes they can be like not exactly a one-for-one experience all the time. And I think it's the left one feels a little more bouncy and this one feels a little more stiff. So kind of has a weird feeling. They're overall still comfortable. I also am not thrilled about the sizing situation, which is why we're here today. But I will say this though, if you can get these and like your sizing is right, as far as, because again, small, medium, large situation, right? If you get these and the sizing is right, I feel like you're probably in for like a pretty decent experience. But it's not going to work out for everybody. And even still, then the feeling of these overall isn't going to work out for everybody. But I do like how they're like just the full thing. You can just see all right through there. So if they get dirty, you can like easily just rinse them off and it'll just be fine. So that's kind of nice, right? Or you can wear them to the beach and like rinse the sand out real easy, like. So they got some ups and downs to them, I guess. I'm gonna set these to the side. Done talking about actibreeze things. Set this down here. Got 2 more boxes in here. This one, 10.5. Good. So there you go, 10.5 Nimbus 26. If you've ever heard me talk about the Nimbus, you know that I talk about it like I talk about the Nova Blast. Not a big fan of it, right? It is what it is. Different running shoes are made for different people that have different preferences. All that stuff goes into why I do or don't like things, right? It's not a bad shoe. I can't talk down on it as far as how it's made or anything like that. I've run in them a few times. You know, again, can't complain, but I can say that I don't prefer it over other experiences. The Kayanos, what's that other thing? The Glide Ride, the Kensei Max, the Super Blast 2, right? The Ultra Boost 5X or Ultra Boost 5. Fan of those more so as well. What is this? Black and something. Black and Soothing Sea. Anyway, so this right here, got a 5K coming up, right? My younger cousin, he wants to do it too. And I know he doesn't have any like decent running shoes. So I picked these up for him. So I'll send these over to him soon-ish. I'll knock out a review first. And then I'll send these on over to him. So this is the Nimbus, right? I picked the Nimbus over the Nova Blast mostly because the color that I was going to get him in the Nova Blast sold out. So then I'm like, well, the other thing that I'd been looking at was the Nimbus. These are a little bit more durable, right? So there is that piece of it, you know, especially like on the bottom, they have a little bit more of the AHR type stuff and all that, right? And they seem to have like a slightly thicker upper, which it's not like thick. It's just that the nimbus is, I mean, the Nova Blast is just very thin, right? I would show you another pair to compare to, but that was for my aunt, and I forgot I just mailed those out yesterday, so whatever. But either way, Nimbus 26. It looks to me to be very similar to the Nimbus 25, which is kind of a good thing because a lot of people really liked the Nimbus 25. So still the same sort of one-piece upper, right? Still the same type of design on there, up around the foot, top of the foot, sock line. That is because it's black. Let me pull out the old flashlight here. You kind of see like the interior there. You have like a little bit of a lip at the top. There we go. A little bit of a lip at the top. And then down on the inside, you have like this cushiony sock liner, which feels really good. So big fan of that. So I can't speak on these other than that too much. Also, they got this little pull tab thing on the back, which is a new addition to the Kayano 31 this year. Kind of stole it from this. But it was a nice addition. I thought it was stupid at first, but then I used it and I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Across the bottom, that's what it's looking like. Like I was saying, a little bit thicker on the bottom as far as like the durability and traction goes. So that's going to be a good thing. These compared to the Nimbus, I can't really speak on that a whole lot. These do feel a little bit heavier. The Nimbus feels a little lighter. Supposedly those are a little more springy. Like the Nova Blast is a little springier than the Nimbus. This is what they say as they're walking around in them, which seems about right as far as those go. I wore a pair of the threes yesterday. Yeah, yesterday when I went to the concert, right? So there is that. But all in all, though, if you're looking between the Nimbus and the Nova Blast, because those are kind of similar in a lot of ways to me, I would probably try them on. That is something to do. Otherwise, if you're just kind of like a casual sort of person, I wouldn't overthink it. I would just look at which one you like the most because the price point isn't too far off, 140 to 160, right? But the Nimbus 5 is coming around in a little under a month, no, December 1st. So that should bring the 4s down quite a bit. So I would imagine that if you're out there looking for something cheap and effective, there's probably going to be a lot of people buying Nova Blast 4s coming real soon. So that's also something to think about. Either way, Nimbus 26, people. It's a pretty good performer, right? I see a lot of people in my running groups wearing those. Never heard a single complaint about them. I don't have any complaints myself. I just prefer something that's a little more stable over something that's a little more cushiony, right? Final thing for the day, noosa Try 16. This is the Day of the Dead release, right? Not to spoil it, but hey, whatever. So let's go ahead and break these things out. I think these were also 140. I feel like that's about where they were. And it's much like the Dynablast, just one of those things that looks kind of cool. It's kind of festive, right? Now, oh, that's different. Didn't expect that. We'll start with the bottom. Why not? Down there, across the bottom, that's interesting. So there you go. Got that. It's kind of like the, what did I have on the other day? The Adidas Terex 2 Ultra Parley. It's a trail shoe. Kind of has a similar outsole. Also, the Asics Trabuco Max Brain Dead collaboration. Very similar look. As far as just like a lot of colors going on down there. Otherwise, it's kind of just plain for the most part. Moving on up here, midsole and whatnot. This one pretty much just blacked out. Kind of has a similar vibe to that right there. Move this box to the side. Grab these real quick. Maybe some of you saw me do this video about the Ride 17 from Saucony. Has a sort of a similar vibe. This does look bigger though. They're both the same size, but these definitely look bigger than these do. But either way, so this right here got a weird feeling mesh upper. It looks like it would be softer than it is, and then it just feels kind of terrible in some ways. Maybe it'll feel better when you actually wear it. I don't know. But either way, moving this thing back just a little bit. So as you see here, got the Day of the Dead type stuff going on. It's going to be just like an inverted design from one shoe to the next. So you got a lot of like the skull type things down in there happening. And that was what threw me off. On the side, you have this sort of glitters type of thing happening. I don't know. This camera is like not focusing on anything right now. So just accept that it sucks and be right there with me and not be thrilled about it. On the back, I don't know what that is, but there you go. There's the back of it. On the inside, had a little asics thing and a little skull face in there as well. And some nice bright green laces, which I think are pretty cool. So anyways, I'm not expecting great things from these as far as like comfort and whatnot goes. I feel like it's going to be like the Dynablast, where it'll make sense to break them out for certain things. And because I wore those for like a 1 mile run the other day, like it was like a festive thing, like people were dressed up for Halloween. So I figured I'll wear some shoes that make sense, which is again like where this type of stuff comes in. Didn't feel great. I remember doing a review on those and it was all coming back to me real clear. I'm like, oh my goodness. Luckily, it was only a mile. So 7 minutes later, I was able to, you know, just walk on back to the hotel and take those off. Spent more time walking to the event than I did actually at the event. So whatever. These right here, I'm going to go slip these on real quick, see how this fit goes. I mean, they do look a little, I don't know if it's like that these look big or that these are just looking small. And I don't have anything over here to break the tie either. The only other 9.5 within reach is a pair of, what is that? A Jordan 4? And that's not going to be helpful to anybody, right? So let's put this thing on here. Yeah, they feel snug, right? This doesn't feel like the kind of mesh that really stretches out a whole lot just because it feels kind of stiff and cardboardy on the outside, right? So again, I don't expect to enjoy this a whole lot and be like, oh my God, wow. And it's just the standard Flight Foam Blast Plus, which is definitely an older iteration of the foam that they use anyway. So yeah, looks cool. And that's what you're going to get out of these. Also a little bit of branding on the inside. You got the 16 because it is this noosa Tri 16, right? But whatever. Not every shoe is truly made for performance, but you know, it's probably better than a lot of stuff I see a lot of people running around in. I see people just in whatever. You know, I thought this thing was stiff. This face down here, it is not. It is just like, it is just a little piece of like fabric basically, which is an odd choice. I thought it was going to be like, remember the Home Alone Adidas Forum 84 Low? Remember those? I thought it was going to be like one of those little decal type things. But no, debray is the word I'm looking for. Thought it was going to be one of those. No, it's not. It is cheap, which explains, again, why these shoes were kind of cheap. So what that also just noticed this. There's a hole in here. See that in the tongue? That's actually just like a straight up hole. You can put your finger through there, right? See that? Yeah, this is just like just a straight hole. I don't know what the deal is with that, but there's a little fun fact for you, I guess. So all in all, there we go. Nothing amazing, you know, and I don't see me like breaking these out anytime too soon. Much like these, right? Same sort of situation. But it'll be a thing to pull out, you know, 2025. So if you want to know how I feel about it, check back with me in a year if I'm still doing this thing, right? Which, if I'm still alive, I mean, I would imagine I'll still be doing this because I don't see me finding anything better to do with my free time, and this kills it pretty efficiently. I'll say that. So there we go. Quick little recap of some kind of sorts. Led off with this right here, the actibreeze Sandal 2, actibreeze 3D Sandal 2, right? Got this nice little outer shell. No longer is it just like plain stuff, plastic, whatever. Moved over to this right here, the Nimbus 26, right? Not bad. Comes in at about, I want to say 160, possibly 150. I'm leaning towards 160. Pretty solid though. No complaints about it. It's a nice extra cushiony type of shoe, you know, so if that's the thing you're into, check them out. Finishing off with this right here, the noosa Tri 16, as it says right back there, in the Day of the Dead colorway. So there you go. Which makes this kind of an easy thing because slide reviews are easy to knock out. And this one, I'm not doing a full thing, so this will be mostly just pictures. And this isn't even for me, so no on feet. So whenever I get to these, should be pretty smooth sailing. But I got some other stuff first because the Sauconys came first, right? I don't know. from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, wherever you are. I don't have anything else on the way, so I shouldn't be doing any more like live unboxings or whatever. I should be able to just focus on reviews, which means the next things you see from me will likely be the Vomero 5 and the Gazelle from Adidas. So expect that, and don't look forward to it too much because neither of them are like great. I like them, visually speaking. They're kind of cool, but again, nothing to really like get too worked up over. I'll just tell you that right now. So I want you to have those expectations at the right level. You know what I'm saying? Don't want you overhyped. Never be overhyped. All right, that's it for me, right? Said everything I needed to say. Been here longer than I wanted to be here, so whatever. Thanks for showing up. I saw the numbers kind of up and down. People were checking in, looking at this like, oh, this is boring, and leaving, whatever. But you at least showed up, so you at least tried. That's enough for me. Later, people.